What's good with y'all? You know what it is. It's your boy, the chosen one, God's chosen son. And I am a vindictive person. Ever since I was young, I never took people looking down on me, people discarding me, losing, people patronizing me well. I never took these things well. This traveled with me along my journey into my adulthood. And when I was a child, I didn't always respond well to this side of myself. But as I grew older, I learned to channel it, right? We all have our little character traits and whatnot, quote unquote character flaws and whatnot. And once we understand them and recognize them, we can start using them for our benefit. Now, when I'm challenged, like with life, I feel like the average person's reaction to being challenged with life is to victimize themselves. With me, it was always a fire instilled in myself at a young age, to where when I was challenged by somebody or challenged in life or people always counted me out, or I feel like life was counting me out, I always had to prove that to be false. And in moments, it's been one of my weaknesses, and in other moments, it's been one of my biggest strengths. Now, how have I started using this for my benefit in my older age? Because before I would crash out and all this type of stuff, I had mad anger issues as a kid. I hated losing. I couldn't stand losing. Me and my cousin, we playing stuff like Budokai Tenkaichi, and I'm winning 10 times in a row. I lose that one time, I'm getting heated. I couldn't stand losing, but in modern time, I'd probably say within the last 7 years, I started using this character trait of mine, and my favorite is vindictiveness. When I'm challenged or when I'm looked down upon or counted out, I started using it as fuel to prove said person or life or said group of people wrong. Right? Quick story time. I used to work out of an office, and I used to work out of an office doing direct sales and marketing. That's what we was doing. I lost my train of thought. Doing direct sales and marketing, and I remember it was one time in there. A guy had called me out in front of the whole office, bruh. Like, we used to have our morning meetings and whatnot, and we would, it'd be like this big old thing of us standing in like a big circle while we do our morning meetings. This dude and different people would come up and speak throughout the meeting, and then we would stand and ovate people for their success in the field, for the sales that they made and all this type of stuff. And this guy calls me out in front of the whole joint, and I'm like, the 50 Cent man, what'd he say F me for? So he basically was like, I challenge you to see who can do more deals next week. Now, this was a joke to me because this guy was a clown, bruh. I'm not gonna lie. He was a clown. But he's the butt of people jokes and whatnot. If you ever known a person like that, just low self-esteem. But anyway, I just was appalled. But at the same time, that fire welled up inside me like, I'm gonna show you. For doing this. I felt like this is despicable. Like, that's just how I felt. And I often get this fire with people, when they challenge me and whatnot. And so I was like, I'm putting 200 on your head next week. Now, 200 at that point was only ever done by one person in the history of that time frame. I was like, I'm putting 200 on your head. And when I tell y'all like I went out here and I was getting only like a couple hours of sleep, went out 7 days straight, was going ham, working until like 2 a.m. all the way from like 7 a.m. just going crazy that whole week. And I put up 200 on his head. The next week came, the numbers came out, he did like 30 something. And we bet on it, right? We had a bet. Whoever lost had to pay the person $100. This guy ain't want to pay me nothing or all this. He was putting it off. But ultimately, I use this story and use this point in myself to bring forth to paint a broader picture. Like, we have to learn to turn things that we view as negative about ourselves into positives, right? We had to learn to be able to transmute certain things, because I had never worked that hard up at that point, and it proved that I could go beyond limits. I've always found myself, when I get in this vindictive state, when I feel like I have something to prove to people, when I feel like people counting me out, look down upon me, I always get into this state of working super hard for myself. It's probably my biggest motivator in life. And and every time I prove, I be like, man, I can go beyond the limits that I set for myself. We have to learn and find what makes us tick as people. What ignites that fire in you to push you forward, to make you become a better person, a better woman, a better man. What is it? We have to be able to look inside ourselves and find it, right? And it's different for everybody. You know, for one person, it may be being charitable, helping people, seeing the smiles on people's face, right? For another person, it may be similar to being like me, being looked down upon and being like, I'm gonna rise to the occasion, being competitive. I'm very competitive, right? And I also found the best revenge, because the Bible say to let the Lord fight our battles. So he gonna fight our battles regardless. But the best revenge for people that look down on you, for people who count you out, for people who discard you, for people who just don't believe you who you really are. The best revenge is to level up. It's not to take revenge on them personally. It's to show them through your actions and through upgrading your life. And I'm not talking about just physical, material things. I'm talking about spiritual growth, emotional maturity, mental growth, silence. All of these things will help you. That's the best type of revenge you can get, I promise. Because people be sitting there wondering how. And that's proof that most people have a victim mentality within life. Because they will see people use something within themselves to spark a fire and become successful and surpass the limits that people put on them. All of the doubt that people bring. You sure you want to do that? I don't know if you can do that. Only a certain amount of people succeed at that. I got more options. You're not the person I need in my life. It's a billion other people. When people realize, sometimes you got to make people realize who you really are. One of my favorite songs within this last year has been Kendrick Lamar's Man at the Garden. I deserve it all. Only winners will understand that song to the depths that it should be understood. Because when you want to win in life, when you want to prove people wrong, you're going to feel like, I deserve it all. You're going to know, I deserve it all. With that being said, this video is a bit different. I think I'm going to start coming on here making more personal videos about myself. You know, just kind of relating to the people. If you related to this video, if you hold a fire in you, you know, for a similar thing, you know, you like, man, I can't stand when people count me out. Comment your experience in the comments, man. I would love to hear that type of stuff. Or if you have any other thing, just let me know what push y'all, what motivates y'all. You know, we have dialogue over here. We should be able to have a dialogue over here. The channel growing. I want to know what motivates y'all. With that being said, it's your boy, the chosen one, God's chosen son. I'm signing out.